Imagine a place protected by security every second of the day, and yet a police officer is found mysteriously murdered inside the police station itself. But the biggest question is, how did the killer manage to get inside such a heavily guarded building? And if he did, how did he disappear without leaving behind a single clue? As investigators begin digging deeper, every answer leads to another mystery, and the truth becomes more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Today, we're diving into the gripping story of Iratta, a brilliant Malayalam crime thriller whose title means twin. This is a story packed with suspense, secrets, and twists that will keep you guessing until the very end. You're watching Indian Movie Recap. Make sure to stay with us till the end because this mystery only gets darker from here. And if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more amazing movie recaps. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get started with the story. The movie opens inside a police station where preparations for a special function are in full swing. The entire station is buzzing with activity, and officers are busy making arrangements for the event. Not far from the station, two young boys are seen playing cricket. During the game, their ball accidentally lands inside the police station compound. Hoping to get it back, the boys head toward the station. Outside, Officer Satish and several other policemen are occupied with the event preparations. Meanwhile, inside the station, ASI John, SCPO Sandeep, and CPO Banish are busy handling their daily duties. Also present in the station is a criminal named Cebu, who has recently been arrested in a drug-related case. Everything appears completely normal, with people moving around and carrying on with their work. But suddenly, the atmosphere changes. 3 gunshots echo through the building. The sound shocks everyone. Within seconds, police officers, staff members, and even media personnel rush toward the station, trying to figure out what just happened. And with those 3 mysterious gunshots, the story takes a dark and unexpected turn. In the next scene, we are introduced to a senior police officer named Pramod, who is currently admitted to a hospital and undergoing treatment. While resting in his room, he watches a television program where he sees his wife and daughter on the screen. The sight of them brings back painful memories. A brief flashback reveals that Pramod's marriage fell apart because of his alcohol addiction and aggressive behavior. Over time, his relationship with his family became so damaged that his wife and daughter chose to live separately from him. As Pramod sits there, lost in thought, he suddenly receives a call from the police station. The officer on the other end informs him about a shocking incident that has just taken place. Without wasting a second, Pramod immediately leaves the hospital and rushes to the station. But the moment he enters, he is confronted by a horrifying sight. Lying in a pool of blood is a man who looks exactly like him. For a brief moment, Pramod is stunned. Then, the truth sinks in. The dead man is none other than his own twin brother, S.I. Vinod. Seeing his brother's lifeless body right in front of him leaves Pramod devastated.
Despite all their differences, the sight is too painful to bear. As the investigation begins, the police realize that only 3 people were present inside the station when the shooting happened. Because of this, CPO Binesh, SCPO Sandeep, and ASI John are immediately brought in as prime suspects. With a police officer murdered inside a police station and no clear explanation of how it happened, the mystery only grows deeper. As the investigation moves forward, the officers begin questioning the 3 suspects. During the interrogation, one shocking fact comes to light. Each of them had a personal conflict with Vinod at some point in the past. One by one, they start revealing their stories to SP Pramod. The reason isn't hard to understand. Vinod was known throughout the department as a short-tempered, reckless, and unpredictable officer. Because of his aggressive nature, he constantly found himself involved in arguments and fights with both civilians and fellow policemen. The first to speak is ASI John. He explains that one of his relatives had once visited the police station to file a complaint. During the investigation, Vinod allegedly went to their house late at night and started harassing the family. The situation became even more disturbing because a young woman was alone in the house at the time. When John confronted Vinod about his behavior, things quickly turned ugly. Instead of explaining himself, Vinod became violent and attacked him. According to John, Vinod even threatened to repeat the same behavior again, daring anyone to stop him. As more details emerge, it becomes clear that Vinod had a terrible reputation when it came to women. Many people in the station already knew about his inappropriate behavior, which is why several officers disliked him. This brings attention to the second suspect, Sandeep. Sandeep reveals that he also had a serious confrontation with Vinod. One day, Vinod picked up Sandeep's daughter from school and dropped her home without informing him or asking for permission. Although Vinod claimed he was only helping, Sandeep was furious. Given Vinod's reputation, he found the act extremely suspicious.
A heated argument followed, and Sandeep clearly warned him never to interfere with his family again. With every new statement, the investigators discover another reason why someone might have wanted Vinod dead. And the deeper they dig into his past, the longer the list of enemies becomes. The investigators then turn their attention to the third suspect, CPO Banish. A senior officer asks him directly what kind of conflict he had with Vinod and why their relationship had become so hostile. After a moment of silence, Banish finally begins telling his story. He explains that sometime earlier, during an investigation, the entire police team had been staying at a lodge. Vinod was also there, and according to Banish, he had been heavily intoxicated that night. While they were at the lodge, a young couple arrived and soon got into an argument with the hotel staff. Seeing the situation getting out of control, Banish stepped in and tried to calm everyone down. But before things could settle, Vinod arrived. Instead of helping, he made the situation worse. The argument quickly escalated, and a physical fight broke out between Vinod and the young man. During the confrontation, Vinod shoved him violently. Seeing this, the girl who was with the young man tried to defend him. She grabbed a bottle and swung it at Vinod. However, the bottle missed its target and struck one of the hotel employees instead. The injured staff member had to be rushed to the hospital immediately. Banish says that he accompanied the injured man to the hospital, but when he returned to the lodge later that night, he witnessed something that disturbed him deeply. He saw Vinod coming out of the girl's room. The girl appeared terrified and emotionally shattered. According to Banish, her condition suggested that something terrible might have happened inside that room. The moment he says this, the atmosphere in the interrogation room changes completely. Every officer present becomes alert. Banish admits that after that incident, he could never look at Vinod the same way again. Whatever respect he once had for him disappeared that night. From that point onward, arguments and confrontations between the two became common, and the relationship only continued to deteriorate. Now the investigators have yet another possible motive for murder. With each new testimony, the image of Vinod becomes darker, and the mystery surrounding his death becomes even more complicated. After questioning the 3 police officers, the investigators move on to the last person who was inside the station at the time of the murder, a criminal who was locked up in the police station's holding cell. When questioned, the man says that he was asleep when the incident happened. According to him, he woke up only after hearing the sound of gunshots. Apart from that, he claims he didn't see anything suspicious. With all 4 witnesses questioned, the investigation still seems to be going nowhere. At this point, Savitha turns toward Officer Satish and asks an important question. What was the relationship between the 2 brothers really like? Did Pramod and Vinod care about each other, or were they brothers only in name? Satish lets out a deep sigh before answering. According to him, calling them brothers was merely a formality. In reality, the 2 couldn't even stand each other's presence. To explain their relationship, Satish recalls an incident from a few years earlier. One day, Pramod had filed a missing person complaint for his wife. Vinod, along with another officer, was assigned to investigate the case. During the investigation, they eventually discovered the truth. Pramod's wife had not been kidnapped or gone missing at all. She had willingly left him. Unable to tolerate his alcoholism, violent behavior, and constant abuse any longer, she had moved permanently to Mumbai with their daughter and started a new life far away from him. A brief flashback then shows a very different side of Vinod. Unlike his brother, Vinod seems to genuinely care about his niece. He arrives carrying gifts and toys for her, hoping to spend some time with the child. During their conversation, Pramod's wife reveals something heartbreaking. She tells Vinod that she has never even told her daughter whether her father is alive or dead. In her eyes, Pramod was such a terrible husband and father that she doesn't want her daughter to have any connection with him at all. Hearing those words leaves Vinod speechless. And through this flashback, we begin to understand just how broken the relationship between the twin brothers had become over the years. The more the investigators learn about their past, the more it feels like Vinod's murder is connected to secrets buried deep within their family. After completing the investigation into Pramod's missing wife, Vinod returns to the police station. But instead of appreciating his work, Pramod explodes with anger. Furious, he confronts Vinod and demands to know how he dared to visit his wife and investigate such a personal matter. The argument between the 2 brothers becomes so intense that everyone around them notices it. According to Satish, after that incident, he never saw the brothers speak to each other normally again. Whatever relationship remained between them seemed completely broken. Meanwhile, a woman named Malini arrives at the police station. She introduces herself as Vinod's wife. During the questioning, Savitha asks her whether she suspects anyone in connection with Vinod's murder. Malini thinks for a moment before replying. She says she cannot point fingers at anyone directly, but one thing is certain. Vinod never liked his brother Pramod.
In fact, he carried deep resentment toward him for many years. Her statement leads the story into another flashback, this time revealing the twins' painful childhood. We see young Pramod and Vinod living with their parents under the same roof. However, their father is far from a good man. He's an alcoholic who regularly abuses his wife and children. The house is filled with fear, violence, and constant suffering. Eventually, unable to endure the abuse any longer, their mother decides to leave him and take both of her sons away. But their father refuses to let that happen. In a cruel act, he separates the twins. One son is allowed to leave with the mother, while the other is forced to stay behind with him. Pramod goes with his mother. Vinod is left behind with his abusive father. For Vinod, this becomes the defining moment of his life. He never wanted to stay with his father. Again and again, he tries to run away from the house and reunite with his family. Then, one day, after finally managing to escape, he reaches the place where his mother used to live. But he is too late. His mother and Pramod have already left the village and moved somewhere far away. Standing there alone, Vinod feels completely abandoned. From that day onward, a deep wound forms inside him. He starts believing that his mother and brother chose to leave him behind with a monster. And over the years, that feeling slowly transforms into anger, bitterness, and hatred. The investigators now begin to understand that the conflict between the twins was not something recent. It had been building for decades. And perhaps the answer to Vinod's murder is hidden somewhere within that painful past. Trauma of being abandoned as a child leaves a deep scar on Vinod's mind. Over the years, that pain slowly turns into bitterness, and it begins affecting the way he treats people, especially women. Because of his troubled past, Vinod develops a negative attitude toward them and often behaves in a harsh and inappropriate manner. However, as the investigation continues, another side of Vinod's personality comes to light. The story reveals how he met Malini. At the time, Malini was trapped in an abusive marriage. Her husband regularly beat her and made her life miserable. When Vinod learned about her situation, he stepped in and helped her escape from that toxic environment. After rescuing her, he brought Malini to his home and gave her a safe place to stay. Surprisingly, the man who appeared rude and aggressive to the world treated Malini with kindness and care. He looked after her, protected her, and slowly built a life with her. First time, we see a softer side of Vinod that very few people knew existed. Meanwhile, back at the police station, the officers are still struggling to solve the murder. Every suspect seems to have a motive, yet none of the evidence clearly points toward a killer. Things become even more complicated when Pramod learns that he himself has come under suspicion. Unable to accept this, he goes directly to Savitha and confronts her. Pramod tells her that the victim was his own twin brother. He admits that their relationship was terrible and that they hated each other for years. But despite all their differences, he insists that he could never kill his own brother. He then makes a heartfelt request. If the police truly want to find the murderer, they should allow him to assist in the investigation. After hearing him out, Savitha agrees to let him participate. Now, driven by grief, guilt, and a desperate need for answers, Pramod joins the investigation himself. And from this point onward, the case becomes much more personal, because the man searching for the killer is also one of the prime suspects. Determined to uncover the truth, Pramod starts reviewing all the camera footage collected by the media teams who were present near the police station that day. As he carefully examines the recordings, he notices something strange. According to the official statements, the criminal locked inside the holding cell was supposed to be there the entire time, but the footage suggests otherwise. Realizing this inconsistency, Pramod immediately calls the criminal in for questioning. Under pressure, the man finally reveals the truth. He admits that he had secretly obtained the key to the lockup and sneaked out of his cell. To avoid being caught, he hid inside a storage room. However, the moment he heard the gunshots, panic took over. He quickly ran back and locked himself inside the cell again before anyone could notice. Although this revelation clears up one mystery, it creates another. The forensic investigation confirms that the fatal bullet came from Benish's service weapon. Because of this, Pramod decides to question Benish once again. He asks him directly how his gun ended up at the crime scene and why the fatal shot was fired from his weapon. Benish explains that before the incident, he had left his gun on a table near Vinod's desk and had briefly gone to use the restroom. According to him, when he returned, everything had already happened. Despite countless interrogations, the police still failed to identify a murderer. Frustrated by the lack of progress, Senior Officer Geetha gathers all the officers and demands answers. She wants to know why the investigation has reached a dead end and why nobody can explain what really happened inside the station. Just then, Pramod walks into the room, and what he says next shocks everyone. According to him, Vinod was not murdered at all. He committed suicide. The entire room falls silent. Nobody can believe what they are hearing. For days, everyone had been searching for a killer, and now Pramod is claiming that there was no murderer in the first place? To support his theory, Pramod brings in the two boys who were playing cricket outside the police station at the beginning of the story. The boys reveal that they accidentally witnessed the incident. From where they were standing, they saw Vinod take the gun and shoot himself. They are the only eyewitnesses to what actually happened. Hearing this, everyone is left stunned. But one question still remains unanswered. If Vinod really ended his own life, then why? When Geetha asks Pramod what could have driven his brother to such an extreme step, Pramod gives a calm but unsettling response. He says that finding the reason behind the suicide will require a completely different investigation. At the moment, he has no answer. With those words, Pramod quietly walks out of the room, leaving everyone lost in thought. The mystery of Vinod's death may have been solved, but the mystery of why he chose to die has only just begun.
Just when everyone thinks the case is over, two officers arrive with a new piece of evidence. They show Pramod a video clip from a television program that was playing at the police station around the time of Vinod's death. In the video, a young girl is singing on stage. The officers explain that this was the exact show Vinod had been watching before he died. As Pramod watches the footage, his expression suddenly changes. The girl in the video is none other than his own daughter. A terrible thought immediately crosses his mind. Without wasting any time, he shows the video to Benish and asks a question that leaves everyone confused. Is this the same girl you saw at the lodge that night? Benish looks closely at the screen and then quietly answers. Yes, it's her. The moment Pramod hears those words, his world falls apart. The truth finally becomes clear, and for the first time, he understands why Vinod chose to end his own life. Earlier that day, both Vinod and Pramod had been watching the same television program. The camera first showed Pramod's ex-wife sitting in the audience. Then it focused on the young girl performing on stage. The instant Vinod saw her face, he froze. He recognized her immediately. She was the same girl from the lodge, the same girl whose life he had destroyed years ago. But what horrified him even more was the realization of who she really was. She wasn't a stranger. She was his own niece, his brother's daughter. At that moment, the weight of his actions became unbearable. For the first time in his life, Vinod was forced to confront the monster he had become. The guilt consumed him. The shame was too much to live with. Unable to forgive himself for what he had done, Vinod decided that death was the only punishment he deserved. And that is why he took the gun and shot himself. With this revelation, the mystery surrounding Vinod's death is finally solved. There was no murderer. The truth was far more tragic. After the investigation ends, Pramod quietly returns home. A short while later, he receives a phone call from his ex-wife. She happily tells her that their daughter has won the singing competition and is on her way home. Then she says that she is finally planning to tell their daughter the truth about her father. But Pramod immediately stops her. He begs her not to reveal anything. He tells her that some secrets should remain buried forever. His wife is confused and cannot understand why he is saying this. But Pramod knows the truth. If his daughter ever learns who her father is and sees that the face of her father is identical to the face of the man who ruined her life, the emotional trauma could destroy her forever. To protect her from that pain, Pramod makes the hardest decision of his life. He chooses to stay away from her permanently. And with this heartbreaking revelation, Iratta comes to an emotional and tragic end. If you enjoyed this movie explanation, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We'll be back soon with another blockbuster movie recap.